bills we had to pay. Work through bad
My 401k, it's plummeting. They're retired.
Trusted every paycheck to somebody else's plan. Now the house
My 401k, it's plummeting. They're retired.
I opened up that statement and just stared a little while. The number took a hit, and all I felt was fear, because 5 years from retirement suddenly feels real here. I'm too close to lose what took a lifetime to build. Too close to gamble with what's left standing still. I don't need wild chances, I need steady and true. When the market starts shaking, I'm too close to lose.
My 401k, it's plummeting. They're retired.
The question hit harder.
My 401k, it's plummeting. They're retired.
Just numbers when you're nearing that line. It's medicine, the mortgage.
Okay, and I am back to talk about a very controversial subject today, because people are freaking out that their retirement accounts are going up or down, guys. How's your 401k doing? Comment below. Because are you one of these people that are 5 years from retirement? This is when market loss hurts the most. So if you are about 5 years away from retirement, this is a moment when a market drop feels different. Because when you're young, people tell you, relax, the market always comes back. But when retirement is 5 years away, 5 years is not a long time. That is no longer theory. That is your actual timeline. So let me read to you guys some of the people right now. By the way, there's a lot of people looking for 401k down. Let me see. Let's check 401k crash. Let me see how many people are looking at that. That's 6,980,000 results. For a 1K crash involves a significant drop in retirement account value due to market downturns. So over 6 million people in the United States are looking at right now about 401k crashes. Okay, so let me to read to you some of the people that I actually are complaining and what they're saying. But like I said, it's not the same if you have time before you retire. What is ultra important, if you're one of those people that are actually about to retire in less than 5 years, you're the one person that I want to focus the most. Or somebody that has an unused retirement 401k account just dying. And anyway, so let's look here at a comment from Paula. It says, this month again, my 401k lost 10%. They're complaining that is, they believe that is the president of the United States that is doing that. Okay, so they don't understand how the markets work, but let's just skip that. Next person. There's a guy named Ronald. He says, since the war started in Iran, your 401ks and 403bs have lost between 10,000 and 16,000. Let that sink in. If you have an old 401k, I would suggest other options. And I agree with him as a 0% tax retirement expert. Okay, look at this. Another one. The record-breaking 401k withdrawals are not simply a financial blunder, but a crisis of on-balance sheet to off-balance sheet assets and liabilities for the American middle class. My 401k, says Gus, today suffered the biggest one-day loss ever. Actually, it's been several sessions I've lost. This Iran war has to stop. Next person. Stock market crash, 401k down. Dusty says, anyone check their 401k? I'm scared to. Okay, let me see. Doris says, how's that 401k looking now? Down over 10% and still falling. 7 bankrupted business, 1 bankrupt nation. Anyway. Okay, so listen to this, guys. Maxed out. John says, maxed out my 401k before war crash. Will peace rescue it? Okay, so this guy is explaining how the anxiety of having maxed their 401k in February, right before war-driven market downturn, they are wondering if a sharp upward trend will appear once the conflict ends. Anyway, so are you worried about your 401k? Yes or no? Comment below. Okay, so let's talk about this again. Why 5 years changes everything. At 30, a bad year is annoying. At 40 years old, a bad year is frustrating. But at 60, a bad year can change retirement itself. Because now you are not just growing money, you are protecting what looks decades to build. So, a lot of people close to retirement still have money sitting fully exposed inside a 401k. And nobody sits down and explains what happens if another correction hits. What happens if you retire during a downturn? What happens if withdrawals begin while losses are happening? That combination can hit hard. So this is the reason why it is good to understand how the 401ks work, right? But the majority of the people that I talk to, that they have 401ks, they don't know how they work. And a lot of them have money just there sitting, okay? So let's explain again why all 401ks matter now. So if you left a job years ago and still have an unused 401k sitting there, that money deserves attention now more than ever. Because many people in your retirement have all accounts they forgot, ignore, assume were fine. And those old accounts may still be carrying full market exposure. Which is the reason why so many people, when they get tired, understand that 401ks go up, go down. You don't lock in the growth. It doesn't have a downside protection, right? You can't touch it before 59 and a half, before you retire, or your penalty is 40 to 50% depending on the state. This is why some people roll over for protection. Okay, so basically, if you're 5 years from retirement, start looking at rollover options into annuities. And that's what I want to talk about. Because this is the difference between a 401k. Like I said, 401ks go up, go down. There's no protection. Annuities, lock in growth. So think about a ladder. Every time you go up, you lock in that growth. So let's say that the market went 5% as an example. It locks in the 5% growth. Let's say that the next day, the market goes down 10%. You don't lose anything. You stay there. So it has downside protection, the annuities. 401ks don't have that. The annuities also have sometimes guaranteed income. Like we have an annuity where you can get 30% bonus when you actually roll over a 401k into the annuity for 12 years and a 9.5% interest rate guarantee. So let's say, right, that you have, let me go back here, that you have 100,000 in your 100,000 annuity that you start, right? Because let's say that you have on unused with a 30% bonus, signing bonus plus 12 years, 9.5% guaranteed. Okay, so that means that your 100K annuity right away when you sign goes to 130,000, and the growth at the end of the 12 years when it's compounded, when you do the compounding growth, is going to end at what? Year 12, $386,000. So let me explain some things. A 30% bonus usually does not mean full liquidity immediately, because just like a 401k, you don't want to touch your annuity. Many annuities attach bonuses to income base, not always full cash value. So a true 9.5 guaranteed fixed rate for 12 years is extremely uncommon today. Some products show illustrated roll-up rates, which are different from actual account growth. So how it compares and how much would you get, how much retirement income you get with 386K before I go into the. So add a 4% annual income, that will be like 15,000 per year. If you stretch it more aggressively, it can be 5% to 19,000. But I wouldn't take more than the amount for the standard deduction, so that then you don't pay taxes, as long as you don't have any other income. But anyway, going back to that, so now let's talk about the same 401k with 100 in a 401k that is going up and down. Okay, and use last 12 years market to see how much this 401k, right, 100,000 401k goes. So in 2014 it was 13%, 2015 1%. So anyway, with the 401k today, the result will be 411,000. But remember, when you have that, right, what happens? It goes up and down, right? But if the market goes more down and up, you're screwed. Okay? So between the 401k and annuity, who wins? Just so you know, 401k can be higher and still dangerous near retirement. The annuity can be lower and still safer for income planning. Now, we're going to talk about the taxes, because again, when you have a 401k, you are deferring the taxes until you start receiving them. Okay, so think about this. If that 401k is taxed, so the $400,000 is taxed at 22%, that's going to leave roughly $320,000 spendable, right? So in some cases, bigger statement value, smaller usable retirement value. That's why people close to retirement often split growth bucket, protected bucket, and tax bucket. Okay, so that's something that I want you to think, because when you have the annuity, you can actually decide how much you're going to get, right? So that you can control the amount of taxes that you pay. Okay, so let's go back to what we're discussing. If you have any questions, let me know. Okay, question, comments, and concerns. So the main reason that people roll over a 401k into annuity is because they want principal protection, growth potential, no direct downside from market losses. That means if the market drops, your protected money does not drop the same way. So one of the biggest dangers near retirement is something most people never hear explained. It is not just how much the market drops. It is when it drops, because if losses happen right before retirement, you do not have decades to wait. So at this age, near retirement, people also think different. Why? About death benefits, because if something happens to you, what happens to this money? Certain annuity structures include death benefit protection, so your family receives value instead of losing what you built. Also, the annuities have something called a chronic and terminal illness, right? So at 5 years from retirement is a very high chance that your health starts fading, okay? And people don't think about the long-term, a long-term care event that can basically leave you, all that you build just wiped, right? Because one diagnosis can change everything. That is why people pay attention when protection includes chronic illness access, terminal illness features depending on structure, options that help if life changes before retirement fully begins. So let me read a little bit more of other people that are freaking out right now because their 401ks are crashing. Okay. Let me go back here. Your 401k is slowly depleting away. 4.5 trillion gone. Check on your money. So listen to this. There's people losing 30% with 401k market crashes. And with a 401k, you can't do anything about it. You just have to watch it happen. Right? There's a guy named Mark that says, my 401k just committed suicide. People are really losing their mind. Man, my 401k took a big hit, said Wally. Somebody says, and Joseph said in March 8th, that was before the war, hear me good, your 401k is about to crash. This war will carry on. Corporations are being destroyed as we speak. Another guy in March 28th, no, another lady, Amy, March 28th said, fifth straight week of the market, on the market ending in a drop. My retirement has lost 12%. I'm sure your retirement is looking nice as well. This is what a great America looks like. Let me go back here. Another guy says, we're teetering on the edge of recession. The S&P 500 has dropped 600 points in just 5 weeks from its peak. Okay? This is why those of us that are financial professionals understand that your retirement should work for you, not the market. And there's a smarter way to protect and grow your income, and it's not a 401k. So reposition your 401k into strategies that designed to provide lifetime income, protection, and peace of mind. Okay? So basically, if you work too long to get this close and then ignore risk now, the closer retirement gets, the more protecting matters. So if you are within 5 years of retirement, or you have an old 401k, 403b, or TSP, or unused retirement account, this is exactly when a review matters most. Not panic, not fear, just clarity. So 5 years before retirement is not when people should guess. It is when they should understand exactly what they own. Okay? So I'll let it there. I'll put the little music again. And how can I make this bigger? Actually, okay, so I can make this bigger. Oh. Okay, no, that's not. So subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. If you want to listen, if you need help on doing something with your unused 401k that is dropping as we speak, please call me at 512-387-2748. 512-387-2748. Because like I said, Unused 401ks are going to be completely depleted. Okay. So I see you guys later, and take care.
And peace of mind. A friend got sick last winter, never saw retirement through. His family learned real fast what protection ought to do. That's when I understood growth.
My 401k. It's plummeting. They're retired.
If loss can steal tomorrow before I walk away, lock in what you can, hold the ground you made, because after 55 you count things a different way. I'm too close to lose, too close to start again, too close to trust the storm and hope it bends. Now I want protection, not another bruise. When you're 5 years from retirement, you're too close to lose. If you're staring at old retirement money and wondering what to do, call Mary Cruz at 512-387-2748. Sometimes one conversation helps you see what still protects you. 401 down, clock ticks loud, 5 years out.
Paper trail, stick it when